Well, Konstantin, hello. I
No.
am impressed with what you have built at your organization, the Knuckles-5 single-handed controller. What was the inspiration behind that?
First inspiration, it was my need of one hand free. I was cameraman, then I was air photographer, and it was not totally not comfortable to use two hands and staying always like this. So I think about maybe is a different way to control drones. And from beginning, drones was like flying calculators. They flying very bad, flying very unstable, and you need constantly to control their position. All two hand usually at 100% are using for this. But now, after 6 or even 8 years of evolution, much function of drones is automatic. So I just thought maybe now it's not optimal way of controlling drones with two hands, and I try to find a new body that will allow me to use one hand for drones and second for maybe for other work. So or bottle of beer. Uh,
I like that. I like that. That makes sense. So I've also been in the commercial drone industry for about 8 years, and you're right. I would say 99% of the flights that we fly are all automated. They're completely automated. And we're only doing probably taking off, possibly doing figure eights to get the IMU up and going for things like that. So I think this makes sense. It would free up that hand potentially for survey applications, right? We can have the pilot also be, because the visual observer, typically we use a visual observer and a survey technician. So maybe we can bring it down to two people if it's a single-handed controller and it's fully automated. That's a very interesting value proposition there potentially for commercial or industrial drone applications. What?
By the way,
Yeah.
I want to make one mark. According to our law in US and Canada, you need a visual observer for controlling if you are using FPV flight. But nobody says that you cannot use one eye goggles, so you keep one eye free for visual observing, and one eye you using for FPV. So there is no law limit for this.
That's
Because
true.
if you have constantly contact with drones, you don't need visual observer. So it will be the second thing that I will try to make to become in life.
Sure, little augmented reality with a headset. Yeah, that does make sense, and I've seen some prototypes of that a few years ago. But I do think the time is right for those sort of applications. I mean, I think the industry overall knows that the human in the loop is starting to go away. So we need to start adding more value to what that individual pilot can do, and freeing up one hand is definitely one way to do that.
No, I hope it will be our future.
That's great. Well, speaking of future, I'm curious because I also like video games. I'm not gonna lie, I also like video games. I also read that this is something that you also developed to possibly as an adaptive joystick.
No, it's adaptive joystick, not only for people for whom it might be adapted. It's generally adapted joystick. So you have extra function, and you can choose what to use for controlling. Or it will be EMU sensor inside of joystick, or it will be classic analog axis 3 joystick that you can use for flying and for gimbal control, as example.
That makes sense.
So, and we have constantly 5 buttons at the tip of fingers, so it can be used for automatic function. You don't need to find the right switch. You just immediately press needed button.
and which is great. So I'll switch back, because one of the things that we do in a lot of our inspection applications, you primarily need a pilot, a visual observer, and a payload or sensor operator, depending on what you're doing. You're saying this could potentially remove two or maybe one, or at least one of those people.
Yes, because when we just started, it was 2013 or 2014. I made my own hexacopter with gimbal, gyrostabilis gimbal. Sorry for my English. And we have definitely one drone pilot and one gimbal control operator. So it was normal, fun, workable duet. But last years, when I need to fly somewhere, I just make after mission and control gimbal by myself. If something happen, I just stop it after mission and go back with hand.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. One of the things that all drone service providers are trying to do is reduce costs. So not just get more efficient, but overall reduce costs. If you have to send 3 people for every mission for advanced missions, that gets expensive. That's 3 hotel rooms. That's 3 people on per diem. So for being able to send one less person and still be able to complete that mission, that's a big deal.
Oh yes, people, each drone operator can control a lot of function in real life, but not everybody ready for this. As example, just imagine one man with one hand controller who control separately manual 2 drones. So right. we done this last years when I still was in Ukraine. We make this experiment and it was successful. I fly not so much time because it was strong wind, and I afraid that 2 drones just hitting in air. So I take off 2 drones, a little bit fly. Little bit stable each drone and land.
Nice. So I'm in the United States, how would I get a hold of this remote controller?
At end of this summer, I hope we will start selling. Now we're testing the last stage of this. The development is image sensor control. It's very hard because it's quite unusual algorithm of controlling. Is it when you activate it, you have to choose in what position you activate. It may be just right like this, maybe it's shuffled, maybe it's continuing will be shuffled. So is it what happened when you reach the limit of angle? So all this thing is quite weird, and we need to choose for us what will be optimal for drones.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Well, I'll throw it out there. If you're interested in any sort of beta testers here in the United States that have significant experience, I'm happy to volunteer.
No, it's very good. It's a very good news, because now we're trying to find much people to get the first drone experience from them.
Yeah,
drone experience, game experience. So I will take you on my list.
Yes, please do. Absolutely, that's great. So you also hinted about your next steps, like what you're working on, what innovations you're working on next. Can you tell me just a little bit more about those?
It's first everything starts from an idea. First idea was one-handed controller. Second idea was very unpleasant need to use visual observer. So I will try to solve this problem, and then we will try to make industrial grade controller that will be used in a ground station or with a different robotic system. So it's just future, but why not?
Absolutely. I think that all sounds very exciting. Have you always been a tinkerer, an inventor, and an innovator?
Oh, it's different. Different. It's cool. I don't like to be innovator, but I don't like to use things that not fits me. So something it's much easier to make by myself than wait when somebody make it.
I think that makes sense. And it also covers a bit of what the drone industry by itself is sort of been doing. The innovators of leading and just saying, look, this isn't working. I'm going to fix it myself.
Yes, it all starts from this.
Absolutely. Well, this is very exciting. And yes, no, I definitely would love to see more. Does it currently work with all? So I see that it uses Mavlink. So it's compatible with most, both consumer and industrial drones that are out there today.
Yes, and 2 drones was controlled by Mavlink.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I think this is exciting. It's definitely unique. I haven't seen a one-handed controller out there that controls drones. Just the big, massive futabas that weigh 5 tons to carry them around, and those are not fun, especially after a whole day of operations. That is another interesting thing that I think you could mention is that, I mean, these are bulking controllers, and even if you're wearing a harness, they're still unwieldy. If I just have this thing that I could put it in my pocket, in a cargo pocket, and I take it out whenever I need it. I mean, it looks just extremely handy. You forgive the pun, but I mean, I think that could be something that I am that as a drone service professional would be very interested in, is just minimizing the amount of gear, lightening the load, because honestly, some of the places that these pilots are going, they have to hike in. Like,
yes,
either take a 4-wheel drive or they have to hike in. So the less gear they have, the less weight they're carrying, the better for them. So that, I think there's another value proposition that you're offering here, not just freeing up a hand, but you're lightening the load by a lot.
Oh yes, but it will be not so lightweight, because we want to put the 2 batteries of lithium. So it will be continue time of work in about 5 or 6 hours.
Okay. Oh wow, that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive for 5-6 hours. And so is this coming as are you working with specific drone manufacturers now, or you're just looking to just put it into like a bundle? Like, I would think that would be something that would be very interesting.
We try to find these consumers, but now we just focus it on individual consumers.
That makes sense.
Drones pilot, or gamers, or people with disabilities.
Or all 3.
Yes. If somebody will want to make it's like part of ground station, I will be happy.
That's good to know. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll keep an eye out for you. There's definitely some folks that we're talking to here and around the world that are looking for innovative, unique solutions for drone operations. And I think this is one of the more interesting things that I've seen at CES that I've reported on. So I'm really, really happy to get to talk to you, Kostiantyn. I appreciate your time and your eagerness and availability. I definitely appreciate that. And yeah, no, I wish you the best of luck with your product, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Oh, thank you for having me, and I will keep your contact for testing.
Please do. Absolutely. Kostiantyn, enjoy the rest of the show, and we'll be in touch soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.